George Takei, welcome to the Game Informer Show, sir.
Thank you very much. Are you in L.A.?
No, we're out in Minnesota. Do you have any thoughts on Minnesota?
Minnesota. What's the weather like there? You got rain, I think.
It's a blizzard. We're locked in an igloo, and we desperately need your help, George Takei.
Oh, so the rain is frozen.
Yeah, it's just a mess. But, George, I was curious. Since this is the Game Informer Show, I want to talk to you about games. What's like your favorite game you ever played in your life? I'm talking like Scrabble, hopscotch, anything. Number one game.
I am a traditionalist. The most interesting and challenging and frustrating game, I think, is chess. And I still play chess. I've got a chess set here in Los Angeles, as well as we've got our mountain hideaway in the White Mountains of Arizona, which incidentally is the biggest, largest ponderosa pine forest, not only in the United States, but in the world. And I love playing chess with my hubby Brad is not a very good chess player.
Well, that's why you like playing.
What?
That's why you like playing against Brad. You can just crush him game after game.
But my nephew and my niece are sharks at it. And so we have them over. Alas, this trip they're not coming over. But I have neighbors that like to play chess too. But chess is my favorite game.
What level are you at with chess? Because there's like the fun. You can have a good time with chess and mess around, but then you come against those people that know strategies. They're watching live streams these days. Are you nearing that point of obsession with chess?
I have come across people like that. No, I'm more the former. But a friend of mine, Penn, is one of these people who has studied the history and know the historic moves and all that. I'm not one of those. I just like the challenge of a smart adversary.
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds perfect. Well, if you want smart adversaries, you should check out video games, George Takei. Have you ever played video games? I know you've been in a couple. You've been like Skylanders Giants.
There's a video chess game, isn't there?
Oh, yeah. They released a game not too long ago, George Takei, that's called Chess 2. So if you want to play the sequel to Chess, you can check that out. Or Battle Chess is a great one from back in the day.
You know, I'm what's called an old dog, a traditionalist. And I like, in fact, I support brick and mortar. I don't, why would people want to buy clothes and shoes over the internet? You've got to, I'm a tactile person. I've got to touch it. I've got to wear it. I've got to walk with it, and so I am one of those people that buy books at our local bookstore on Larchmont Boulevard, our little retail village there. I love technology, and I dive into it, but I also think we need to keep some of the things that make us human beings, touching,
right,
building those chess figures.
Yeah, you want to move the chess figures, not just play around with Command and Conquer, a series you're in, where it's all digital chess, some would call Command and Conquer.
Exactly.
Okay, forget about that. I got it. So you're promoting something called Trace Me. Do you want to explain what this is?
Well, it's another level of opportunity to create a community. What initially fascinated me about social media is that I began by writing back in the 1990s, in the 20th century. I had a blog essentially to stay in touch with my Star Trek fans. But when social media became big, YouTube and Facebook and others, Twitter became available, I thought, what a fantastic way where I could keep in touch with fans in Prague, Czechoslovakia, or the Czech Republic, or Singapore, or Sao Paulo, Brazil. And so that's what attracted me to social media. but then we make discoveries of the underbelly of social media, the trolls, and that's caused all sorts of havoc. And here with Trace Me, my one of the agents in my agency, a guy named Ben Press, a real nice guy that I got to be friendly with, left the agency, and he joined with this organization called Trace Me, and he called and said, "I'd like to sit down and talk with you about it." And so we invited him over, and he sat in the living room, and he told us about the new Trace Me that he's working on. He's an executive with, and the thing that made it attractive was that it was a troll-free opportunity, so that we can, really genuinely create a positive, personalized exchange between the fans and me, and so that's what attracted us to Trace Me.
That has to be nice. Is it like behind a paywall? Is it just like being brutal with policing, where it's like, hey, you have one edgy comment, you're out of here, buddy? Or how do they keep it troll free?
Well, we have a moderator.
Okay.
And that controls the troll situation, so that you don't have to be on guard, wary of what kind of hater. You know how ugly trolls can be.
Oh man, yes.
And some of the I really feel badly for vulnerable teenagers that are profoundly affected by these haters, and they go to bed, terrified, and people who don't have the life experience built up are so wounded by it that they start doing horrible things,
Yeah.
And so to be rid of them and to be open and relaxed and fully forthright and candid, you develop a real community with the kind of global access that you have.
For sure. What does trolling George Takei look like? What if I pulled up your mentions on Twitter? What are people just constantly barraging you about that you just get sick of?
Well, there was one weekend when I made a mistake and said something that I regret now, but that grew and grew, and it was all weekend long. And fortunately, we were at our mountain hideaway, and so journalists journalists like you couldn't interview us. We were in the Ponderosa Pine Forest, but I won't tell you what it was, because I just want to leave it in the past.
Right.
It was so horrific.
Do you ever? This Ponderosa Pine Forest sounds great. Could you possibly loan one out to anybody who just wants some solace and kind of retreat from the internet? Because it sounds ideal.
Well, actually, it's a gated golf development, and they do have some rentals there.
Okay, all right, I'm listening. I'm interested.
Do you know where Show Low is?
No.
Show Low, Arizona?
No.
Do you know where the White Mountains are?
I could find it. I'm very bad at geography, George Takei.
It's northeast of Phoenix.
Okay.
It's 6,500 feet up in the. A lot of people who live in Phoenix or Tucson or Scottsdale have their summer homes there because of the altitude. It's cooler. On the desert, it's blistering hot.
Do you find it
to the mountains?
Yeah. Do you find it important to kind of unplug from the internet every once in a while and just disconnect from fans, even just for your own sanity?
It is essential, because we do, thanks to technology, we do live in a more densely packed time. I have, like yesterday, I had a press conference with the California state legislators in Beverly Hills, and then I had a doctor's appointment in the middle of the day, and then Lawrence O'Donnell of MSNBC, that was a bait and switch. He wanted me to talk about Jeff Sessions' new Religious Liberty Task Force.
Right.
And so I had to cram to be up on that issue. But when I showed up at the station, they changed the subject matter on me. It was my childhood imprisonment in American barbed camps, simply because we looked like the people that bombed Pearl Harbor, and relating that to what's going on at the southern borders of this country, and the children being torn away from it. So but that I was very conversant in. So I was able to handle that. But it's because our days are so densely packed, it does become important to have a place where you can commune with nature. I love the sound of the breeze going through the pine needles. It's like a wave just coming in, without the ebbing. It's that constant It's so relaxing, and I sit there and check my email on the phone.
No, you got to unplug, man. What's your ideal interaction with a fan? What do you want fans to ask you? I'm sure you've been asked 8,000 questions about Star Trek and everything. I mean, what is your ideal lane for fans to communicate through?
Well, 3-minute warning. Sorry.
That's good.
Thank you. Star Trek basically had a vision of the human future. As you know, it took place in the year in the 23rd century, and the vision was the Starship Enterprise was a metaphor for Starship Earth, and the strength of the starship was the diversity of that starship coming together and working in concert, each contributing their unique talent to face the challenges that the Enterprise was confronted with. I mean, and it's, tapping our inventive genius, our problem-solving genius, our ability to work together as a team, and we will boldly go and overcome and live long and prosper,
Yeah. So you want fans to ask you about Star Trek?
What?
You want fans to ask you about Star Trek? You still enjoy getting those questions?
No.
Okay.
People who have that kind of vision and share that optimism and the positive feeling about our future. And it doesn't have to be about Star Trek. We in fact, Gene Roddenberry, who created the show, meant for it to be related to the issues of our time, and so to be inspired by that, but to relate that to the world that we live in. Right.
So that's the avenue you're looking for. I totally got it. By the way, I don't know how often
I'm both a political activist as well as a lover of nature, as well as curious about our future in space. In fact, as a matter of fact, Saturday we flew back from Washington, D.C., and unknown to us until we landed and we were getting up to leave the plane, sitting right behind us was Buzz Aldrin, with whom I'd crossed paths in the course of the various events that I go to. And, there's a man who walked on the moon who was riding in a plane right behind the seat right behind us.
What a world, man. Congratulations.
We live in that kind of world.
Yeah. I don't know how often people bring up the episode of Twilight Zone that you were in, but we're big fans here in the Game Informer office.
Oh, well, thank you very much for that.
Was it a positive experience overall?
Twilight Zone?
Yeah.
Was that a positive experience? I was a young actor, and that was a wonderful opportunity. I mean, because more often than not, when you're a young, fresh actor, you're getting roles that are pretty standard. But with that one, it was red, raw, bloody meat that I could sink my teeth into.
Yeah.
And so I really found it challenging and fulfilling.
And you get to jump through a window, if I remember correctly.
I did. Yes.
All right, what time is that?
Okay, well,
there was a nice mattress on the other side.
That's perfect. George Takei, if you're ever in Minnesota, swing by our office. I'd love to go against you in a game of chess, sir.
All right, we'll do that, but please do not have a blizzard going then.
Okay, I'll see what we can do. Take care, Mr. Takei.
Good chatting with you. Bye-bye.
That was just a clip from a larger show called The Game Informer Show. You can find it on iTunes, Google Play, or GameInformer.com. We take the fun opportunities and exclusive information from Game Informer magazine and boil it into a show that airs every Thursday with exclusive cover story information, developer interviews, a lot of fun stuff. So come love games with us.